Good afternoon. I'd like to first thank the fans and the student body that came today. I thought they did a great job. I don't know that we gave them a lot to really cheer for until we got to the second half of that football game, but they were ready. And I thought they had an impact for us down the stretch, and I'd like to compliment Matt Rule and his staff and their Temple football team. I think they've got a young team that gets better every week. We knew this was going to be a tough game for us, and winning is such a delicate thing. We were fortunate to come out on top today. Questions?
Kyle, when you look at the overview of it, you come back for the win, but when you look at it as a body, what do you see?
I see I kind of look at it as two halves, and I'm really disappointed at how we played in the first half. I just thought from the two penalties for illegal substitution and the personal fouls. I mean, that's not the way we've played football here. We've had penalties from time to time, but those were not the kind of penalties that we've had until today. So I don't know right now what the reason for that was, but we're going to get to the bottom of it and make sure that doesn't show up again, because that was disappointing. But in the second half, I'm really proud of the way the team fought. I think this team has proven time in and time out that they will fight and they will compete, and that the moments in the fourth quarter that are close are not too big for this team, and that's exciting to coach a group of kids like that.
Kyle, have we seen that play in Carew before?
I didn't know if Tara was going to be here. She's the one who keeps asking me that question. I mean, at this point, I may have to agree with her. I don't know, but you certainly have seen it, and I think Gary certainly throws that ball well. And if you single cover Leonte in those situations, it's going to be too hard to keep him out of the end zone.
Is it impossible to resist? That's an all or nothing play, obviously, fourth down, and
sure,
they have a blitz, but because it's so wide open, you have to go for it there?
It's an all or nothing play in terms of, yes, you either make the first down or the game's over. But it's not just an all or nothing play to Leonte. It just so happens that he's had the one-on-one, and we feel like he's going to win, and he's had separation in all three of those cases, I think, where he's caught it. So it's fortunate for us that we can put him out there.
Kyle, the other big play in the game, Longa and Snyder stopping that 4th and 1. What did you see there?
It's an inside cross blitz that we run quite a bit. It's not unusual. In that situation, you have to stop them or the game's over. And as we had the safety up a little tighter, but those guys did a nice job of penetrating it and then making the tackle, because I thought Temple did a good job of running the ball in the fourth quarter. I thought we kind of held them in check early in the game, but they did find a couple runs in the fourth quarter where they were moving it on us.
The penalty on after the sack and delay game, did that kind of give you guys a needed time to kind of regroup as opposed to having to hustle to the line and get that fourth down play off?
I don't know that the play would have been different. You've got very few plays on your call sheet for that situation. You're only going to have 2 or 3 plays at the most in that situation, based just on the personnel available to you. But does it allow you to get it communicated a little bit better? I don't know. Maybe it might.
What impressed you most about the way Gary operated today?
I thought Gary got better. I thought Gary protected the ball. I think you saw him a couple times when he didn't have what he wanted. He pulled it down and ran, and I thought that was good. Gary's a good athlete. He's not your traditional running quarterback per se. I don't want to make him feel too good about it, but he is an athletic guy who was able to move the ball a little bit with his feet today as well.
Kyle, obviously he comes through huge at the end, Gary, but when in the first half or at the start of the second half, did you ever consider playing both quarterbacks when the offense was struggling?
I felt like as the game went on, Gary was making good decisions, and that was going to be what ultimately determined whether or not I would stay with him or not. And I felt as long as he was making good decisions, he would give us a chance to win the game, and I think he played out like that.
Was the dump off to the running back today, was that something that was different on an emphasis in practice or anything, or was it just there with what Temple did?
I think he did a better job of it today. I think they gave it to us. They were going to challenge him to try to fit some balls into tight windows, and I thought it was a good job of him by not taking the bait. But the backs as an outlet late in the progression, that's not new. That's I think a staple of this style of offense.
Kyle, do you think Gary just seems to be very comfortable in the 2-minute drill in general? Are you confident in him?
I do.
In that situation?
I do. I think what you said is probably the better point. I think he's confident in those situations, and that's why he appears to be effective in the 2-minute drill.
Kyle, when you look back at that fourth down stop, maybe at the end of the year, is that maybe a play that changes the narrative a little bit of this season?
I don't know if we'll be able to answer that till the end of the year. I know it changed the narrative of today, for sure, because if they make that first down, the game's over.
Coach, you have Ruhan out there starting his first game on defense. He has a sack, he has a fumble and recovery. I mean, just talk a little bit about the way he played out there.
I'll have to look on film to see exactly from an assignment standpoint how well he did. I have no reason to believe he didn't do well based on what I was hearing from the defensive coaches on the headsets. But what I said to Ruhan at the end of the game is that's why you were the right person to do it. He was the guy that we knew would in a week would be able to be effective, and we knew when he got to the quarterback would be able to get the sack, and given the opportunity to make a tackle, he would make the tackle. Now he makes such a good tackle, he forces a fumble and then recovers it himself, which is an impressive thing to do. So I'm proud of him, and I think it really speaks volumes for the type of players we have on this team, because Ruhan is not a player who was not playing who all of a sudden got thrust into that role. He was a significant piece of the puzzle on offense, and then he goes over to defense, and now he's a significant piece of the puzzle on defense.
Oh, was there any angst for you after Goodwin's fumble? Temple used up 7 minutes. You eventually ran out of timeouts.
Yep.
What are you thinking on the sideline? I mean, obviously you knew how to get stopped, but
Sure.
were you checking the clock constantly? And
Absolutely. Yeah, I think once they got past the first down, then now you're trying to gauge from a strategic standpoint when it is you're going to use your timeouts. I chose to use them on 1st and 2nd down, and that's philosophically kind of what I believe in. Some people say 1st and 3rd down, but I trend more to use them towards 1st and 2nd down. But yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, they ran the ball in the 4th quarter better than they had the whole game. I think it's a sign of an improving team.
Goodwin had 43 yards on his first 3 carries, and he ends up with 60. What changed there, either from you guys or from Temple's defense?
Well, we gave him a fair amount of touches early in the game. In the 3rd quarter, we gave Savon a series or 2 because I thought that would give him a chance to kind of catch his breath a little bit. I don't know until I look at the film exactly what it was. The fumble was unfortunate. There's no excuse to ever fumble the ball. But he got caught in a very awkward position and got hit what looked like right on the top of the head, and then the ball came out on him. So, he has not had that issue in the past, but he's got to keep that ball high and tight all the way down.
You have to talk to Quentin Gauze. He had 2 costly personal fouls. At least they announced him.
No, one was Quentin, one was L.J. Liston.
Oh, one was LJ.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And it was L.J.'s was complete immaturity. It was all verbal. It wasn't even a contact penalty. He got penalized for something he said verbally, which is unfortunate.
Just in general, I know you said you want to look and see what happened with the penalties, but there were 2 substitution
Absolutely.
infractions, right?
Oh yeah.
Is that something what ran
I
wrong
can
on the
tell.
sidelines?
Yeah, there's not enough urgency of the people in the huddle on the field to the sideline. We utilized a lot of different personnel groups today in terms of the receivers we were using. You saw a lot of times the receivers were going in and out, even if necessarily the personnel was the same. From 21, 11, 12, whatever it is. But there's got to be more urgency with the eyes from the field to the sideline. That's the only way it's the only reason that mistake is made.
How did you feel the secondary held up as a whole with so many injuries and concerns like that going into the game?
I'm proud of the way our defense played. Yeah, I think that Temple team, I think Matt's got a good football team, and I think his team is improving. I think they've found their niche offensively in terms of what they want to be. I think they compete on every play. And I knew this would be a great challenge for us. They scored a lot of points the last couple of weeks. And to hold them to 20, and 7 of them were on a very short field that our guys had to defend, I thought it was a good effort by our defense as a whole.
Kyle, can you explain why the play calling on offense was a bit more conservative, more short yardage situations in the first half, even when the team was trailing?
The first couple drives?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, we ran the ball, I
in
think, quite a bit
half.
the first couple drives. We were trying to set a physical tone to the game. That was really the reason for it. The 4th down we went for stopped one of the drives. They stopped us. So, we've had success on 4th down this year, and that was one we didn't have success on because our backside blocking wasn't good enough, and they got somebody through there.
Time for 2 more. Kyle, in the second half, can you just talk about what prompted you to stick Borghese in there for a couple extra points?
Well, I think he had missed a EAT and then he missed a field goal. At that point, I gotta make a decision that he just doesn't have his swing today, to use a golfing analogy, and Nick had hit the ball pretty well during the week, so he was the guy we were going to go with from that point on forward.
I don't know, it's like projecting ahead, but any idea what a win like this can do for a bye week as far as energy and just attention?
I think it does create energy for sure. But had the game gone the other way, do I have any concerns that the team would have come out and fought? I don't. I think this team's got a lot of fight in them, and we were fortunate that we made enough plays today to win the game. And sometimes, and we've been in a couple where we haven't, but today we did, and I'm proud of the team for doing that because that's what they're going to be judged on in terms of their body of work at the end of the year. It's not really how, it's how many. Thank you.